Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at some paper items, a paper haul that I got. We're also going to talk about a lot purchase that I have, and we're going to go into that, pricing, and a few other things with that. I know everybody likes looking at things and seeing some of the types of items that I sell. We're going to go over pricing on some of them as well. We'll talk about a little history. It probably will be a two-part video. Next video, I believe, will probably be the video going over the circus postcards that I got. I'm going to tell you about the offers and all that kind of stuff that we did get on some of those cards. But anyway, let's hop over and look at some cool items that we have in inventory right now. Okay, so now we're going to talk about labels and pricing. I'm going to show you some items that I got related to steamships. I want to give you a real good idea. I did a video talking about common pricing, standardized pricing, basically. Now, these are roller skating labels. I got them for 25 bucks. Now, these are something that I pick up fairly often. A place to get these, somebody who used to work at a roller skating rink would be a real good source for that. Now, they're all different, of course. They're all from some collection, I would imagine. You can kind of get the gist on it here just by looking at them. Now, when I price these are all going up for the exact same price. None of these will be looked up. Not a single solitary one of these will I ever look up or even care to look up. Now, in the past, when I first got my first lot of these, I started to look them all up. I spent a lot of time going over them one by one and trying to determine what I should do. I spent hours going through stuff like this. Now, after selling them for, probably 5 or 6 years, obviously I've been able to figure everything out in this quite some time ago. There's only been like 2 that have ever sold higher than $34.50 for us. Ever. And I've sold hundreds and hundreds of these. Thousands of dollars. 6,000, 7,000, I don't know. Maybe even more than that. The point of it is, all of these will go up for $34.50. Average sale price is around 20 bucks a piece. There's over 100 of them here. That's $2,000 if they all sell. Of course, they're not going to all sell immediately or anything else like that. Now, some of them, like this one here, this one probably would go for $34.50 fairly easily. Now, I'm not going to mess with screwing around with even trying to research any of these. I've done that before. Nothing changes the aspect. I don't care if I give one away for 5, 10, 20 bucks less. The max I've ever sold one of these for was around 44, 45 bucks. And it was 1 or 2, and that was it, out of hundreds and hundreds of these that I sold. So I've just come to the conclusion that I'll just put them all up for $34.50. The amount of time that I would waste into trying to figure out if 1 or 2 out of 100 of these was worth listing for more is going to be blown by my time invested into researching them. So anyway, we'll just flip through these fairly quickly just to give you an idea on what's out there. California ones usually do fairly well. This is typical. This is Los Angeles. Some of these will be really attractive, the actual zoom in on them too. So they'll be drawn. Some people will be drawn to it. Columbus, Ohio. Now, a bunch of these were from my local area, which was pretty neat. Cleveland. This one's really nice. So some of these will go very, very quickly. These foil ones don't do very well. But now, as well, like let's say Victorian trade cards. The same basic principle works with these. Companies, let me turn this out of the way. The companies who print these will show them standardized designs, and you can just print your name, your city on these, or they will do it for you. So you'll see many of the same designs over and over and over again, but for different locations, different cities, different towns across the board. So this is what I get. I don't care if there's a little bit of damage to them. Sometimes they're curled or crinkled or creased or ripped or anything else like that. These patriotic ones do extremely well. Lorraine, again, this is another one. Roll on to victory. This is World War II. You should at least get that out of that. So I can put WW2 patriotic roller skating label, $34.50. It might sell fairly quickly. Madison Gardens, this is Chicago. Interesting one. These die-cut ones, again, $34.50 on all of them. Most of these designs I have run into before, at least a few times. Right now, I probably have around 700 labels like this that I haven't even listed yet. We're going to do a day where somebody will probably list 100, 150, maybe 200 of just these sorts of things. Now, some of them, like this one here, it has like an embossed printed style. It's a silkscreen one. These are early. So unlike some of the other ones that I get, these are from the 40s. No, probably later than the 1950s. Some are larger, some are smaller. This one's kind of fallen apart, which does happen. You know, they've been around for a while. This was like a rolled on ink from, in fact, let's dust that off. So this probably won't be worth much by the time it gets to listing, but anyway. Roller derby ones do fairly well. This one's got some sticky to it. Roller derby ones do extremely well. So this one I might put a hair higher, but I really doubt it. Alexandra Palace, roller skating. I would imagine maybe that's Virginia. I don't really know, but it doesn't really matter. Now, size-wise, doesn't matter. I will put these small ones at the exact same price I put the big ones. As long as it's a roller skating label of any kind, they go for $34.50. $34.50. Every single one of these is going to be listed at that. Again, I'm sure I will sell some right at the price. In this one, I've probably got like 20 with the same design, but with different companies. Here's another interesting. This is World War II, without a doubt. It's got the patriotic shield. Town-wise, what you want to put in is the name of the place, the city, and then roller skating label. The very first thing I put is 1940s, 30s, 40s, 50s, somewhere in that range for the dating on these. Again, I don't care about the size or anything else like that. People who buy these, these are scarce. They don't show up all that often. This one's actually a poster stamp for Roller Skating Championship. Might be worth a little more. I'll look that one up special. But other than that, all these paper labels are all the same thing to me. Silver Springs, Maryland. I've been there before. Old Dominion, Alexandria. Even damaged, they're going up for $34.50. Believe it or not, I sell these damaged, ripped, and no issues whatsoever like that. Again, you'll see the same designs over and over again. This one's actually pretty interesting. 2000, number 12th. I don't know what that means. You'll see the knockoff Disney's on here, like this Donald Duck. Size, shape doesn't really matter. This one's got some issues, but it's got like a mica or something similar to that across it. Really nice one, honestly. Mickey Mouse, again, generic knockoff. Some of these curl up too. I can flatten these all out. Again, I've got paper presses. Here's the same design we showed you just a minute ago, but smaller version. Some of these you can find in, say, 3 or 4 different sizes. This one's a little damaged. I may put a little piece of the repair paper on the back of that one. Again, you can see this same design we've already looked at. This one's pretty interesting. This one should do fairly well. It's, you know, almost like a pinup model on there. 1930-ish, I would gather this one is. Culver City, California. Again, I'm just going to put them up at the same price. Doesn't really matter to me. I just get so many of them. Hollywood Roller Bowl. Warner Brothers Sunset Boulevard Studios, world's greatest skating rink. This one, maybe it'll do a little better because it's Warner Brothers, but who knows. Again, here's the same design we showed you earlier. Another design here. Sometimes they'll show you the actual rink. Again, they'll sell fairly quickly, fairly easily. I've come to the conclusion as well that the max most people want to pay is like $20, $25. I still put them up for $34.50, and that way it catches all the ones that might go for a little more than the $20 range. So those military or the war ones that I showed you, those would be perfect examples that would probably sell for the full $34.50. Again, here's the same design we've looked at now 2 or 3 times. Manager, 1940. So this one's dated. This one's a 1941. We're pretty sure these are all from that same time frame. Scotty's roller rink. Again, a nice early image on the inside of the skating rink. I would gather these all date to the 30s or 40s in this personal aspect here. Die-cut ones do fairly well. Also, St. Louis roller rink. This was one we've had designs before just like it. Same with this one. Riverside roller rink. We cater to private parties. Rollerway skating rink. Sacramento, California. The California ones should sell fairly quickly, I would imagine. Brooklyn Ice Palace roller rink. Now this one I've had, I don't know, geez, maybe 4 or 5 times. This is a meet at a very specific place, the 4 Hollywood Blondes. I may have even shown this one selling a couple of times. I always know the time frame if I see these in there, so 30s or 40s I would gather most all these. Here's one, Varsity Gardens, and they're kind of playing on V for Victory. It has a World War II for defense bonds, American savings bonds. So this is definitely 1940s. Live in Norris at 6 Mile Road. That 6 Mile still there. This is Detroit area. Chaps roller rink. Again, a lot of these were silk screened one at a time, and I'm not sure how they cut these out or anything else like that. They must have had a big machine that stamped them out, but again, $34.50. I've figured it out. There's no sense in doing any more pricing above and beyond $34.50 because that is the max a lot of these will go in my book here. Now, I got a bunch of steamship stuff. The company or the line name is the initials here, NGI. I don't remember what that stands for, but it's an Italian one. You can see tourist department. This is an advertising booklet. I believe this would have actually been available on the ship. I believe that is Cuba, maybe, I would imagine, or Spain, I guess. I don't know. It says Sicilia. Maybe not. Maybe that is Italy. I'm not really sure, but it's got some issues. It's been around the block a little while, but this is published and printed by the actual steamship company. The cover states the name of the steamship. That's the steamship there. This is the SS Colombo. Now, when you look up stuff like this, you got to be extremely careful because there's two ships named the SS Colombo. One has Christopher Colombo. So it's Christopher Columbus. It's a takeoff. It's a later one. This is the earlier one. If I'm not mistaken, this ship here was sunk or was involved in some heavy seas and was wrecked. When a ship was wrecked, the price usually goes up drastically across the board on stuff like this. Let's pull out something else here, some other items. Now, this all came together. Again, I just grabbed big, huge lots of this stuff. These were sealed at one time, so when you buy them, then you can pop them open. Lots of advertisements. Look at the advertisements here. Really nice. The advertisement-wise usually sells these. This advertised some famous people back then, like stage actresses and things like that. So if you look these up, you're careful. Even individual pages, if you get the right person in it, can be worth some money. Like if Charlie Chaplin was in here. Michael Bugatti. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce some of the French words, but anyway, some of these are really interesting. That's a real neat car there. This is typical of what I find again. Casino, they would have been performers there. So some of these names I could actually find. That's really nice too. Very interesting car there. Excellent advertisement there as well. Sometimes the advertisements in here can be cut out too. It depends on what they're for, obviously, but you can see there's quite a bit of information in here. So this again is a nice one. Now, price-wise, something like this here, I'll probably put $125 or higher, maybe even $175 on it. Most European stuff doesn't sell super high, but this is from Nice. Nice stuff with the advertisements and the tie-ins to stage performers and things like that. Probably at least $57.50. Now, the French Riviera. The reason I would say this one would be worth something because it's by American Express. It's early. These all date to the 20s. Lots of interesting content in it as well, too. It's a tourist book from the area as well. It's got time frames. There's train schedules, prices, and the whole works. So this is a train schedule booklet. So again, $57.50, $75. Here's an interesting one, too. Now, this is the ticket. Let me move this. One cabin class outward ticket for the same ship right here. So I've never seen a ticket from an Italian line like this. So this one should be worth pretty decent money. They bought it in Chicago in 1927. I'm going to put this in here so nothing happens to it. But passenger lists from the same ship, $75 or better. Here is the actual ship itself. You can pretty much guarantee it's the same one. NGI, again, the same company. Just the postcard, I'm going to put $57.50 to $75. So all of this stuff all ties together. Now, I got a whole bunch of it. This is just from one line. I've got a ton of it, like a couple hundred pieces by the time I counted through it all. Now, this is unused. Now, detach if wanted in stateroom. You got to pay attention because if you don't want this, detach if wanted in baggage room. So they'll take your bag to the baggage room if you tear that off. This is unused. It's always the best on some of these. Other ones, if it says the name of the ship, usually does far better. Now, again, just like a lot of the other items I price, $57.50 most of these I price. I'll just see what happens. Same one, NGI, Navigazione Generale Italiane. So it's basically Italian navigation, general navigation company or something along that line. Delivered to Baggage Master Naples, not wanted, hold. So it'll sit there. They don't need it on the ship itself. So this is stuff they're sending with them that they'll use when they arrive at their destination in Italy. What is this? This is a concert on the ship. So here's the ship's name again, $57.50 to $75 for all of these sorts. This one could be worth a little more. I will look these up just before I list them, just to make sure. Again, because I don't run into Italian lines from the 20s. You just don't see this stuff very often. So to have a little treasure trove of it is really a big plus, a boost for me. I was pretty excited to find all these menu cards from the exact same ship as well. $125 I'll probably try on the menu cards. I've got a couple of them, and this must have bled through from the one that was setting down before it. Again, menu card, same 1927, same ship, same price structure. Now this I really thought was neat. It's a little damaged from being slid in and out. This is the actual ticket, the full-fledged ticket pack with all their paperwork and the whole works, showing the designation, the destinations, maps. It's been stamped. It's got seals embedded into it, like official seals stating where they're going and the whole works. Rather interesting. I have not seen one of these before, so I'm going to have to guesstimate on this. And it's actually a couple's ticket, so one's for one person and one's for the other member of the family. I don't know if this is 365 lire. That probably is what it is. That's a lot of money, I would imagine, back then. But it has the original folder that it was issued in. Tickets like this, I've never seen anything like this. So price-wise and something like this, I'll probably put it up for, I don't know, at least $125 for the lot here. Maybe a hair more. Again, I'm going to have to look some of these up just to make sure. Hotel Milan, Terminus, Florence. It's got maps. It's a rather interesting one. This is something, it's a brochure basically with a map though. The maps are what I usually look for, but it's got some real nice poster style artwork on it here. Again, it's Italian, but it's early. It's interesting. The war ravaged this area, so this hotel might have been gone after World War II. So that really helps here. Genova. Again, most of these luggage labels like this, $34.50 or so. This was interesting, too. This is an advertisement for Giesler. I guess it's wine or, yeah, champagne. And it is French, so it is an original. And it's a mechanical card, too, so the child can look like he's drinking. Now, I've never seen one of these, so I'm going to have to look it up. But even if I can't find another one of these, this puppy's going up for probably $75 or better. Maybe better. I don't know. This is one of those interesting pieces. Even though it's new, it's French, it's early, it's champagne, maybe I need to put 75 or higher on it. I'm not really sure yet. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, now, hotel items. Most of the hotel stuff aren't worth a fortune, but usually when I see stamps on them like this, I'll usually take a shot. Now, these are probably the days they stayed, so they're there 1927. Moist. Now, I'm not sure if that's May or what that is, but either way, this is their restaurant arrangement. I guess they bought flowers. I guess I don't really know, but that's really interesting. Most of these $27.50 or so I put on them. I've sold many of those too. Now this is some sort of invitation for an Italian thing here, and it's got a ticket to get into the thing as well. Rather interesting. Most of these you'll be able to easily look up on Chrome. Just do translate on there, and they usually come out fairly well. Let me show you this one here. This was pretty interesting. This is a little diary book from the actual Colombo, the SS Colombo. I don't know how well you'll see that on there, but it's on the cover right there. Now, again, I've never seen anything like this. It's only got a few days filled in. They're going from New York to Naples. Again, this is ship-specific. Ship-specific usually does better. Cold and cloudy, 32.3 miles. So you can kind of get a gist on this. Something like this, at least $75, $95 or better. New York Central Lines. This was pretty interesting. I'm not really sure what this would have been used for. Maybe, oh yeah, okay, fare. So you'd stick in fare, the amount you owed possibly. It's an advertising one too because it's got Niagara Falls. $34.50, $37.50. Here's the passenger list. In fact, I think this goes, yeah, it must have fallen out of this one here. These two go together, as you can see right there. So now that it's complete, that price will be good. Another American Express, Lucerne. I think this is where that lion carved into the mountain is in France, if I'm not mistaken. Maps. I always look for the maps in these. That's what usually pushes these. So this one should do fairly well. It's got a location where the American Express facility is. So this is an American Express advertising. $34.50 bare bones minimum on something like that. Now these colorful ones that fold out like this, I do extremely well. Just for the artwork's sake alone, in all honesty. And in fact, it's a little stuck together. I'll have to be a little careful. There we go. So it's a nice, interesting one. Minor damage. I'll still do extremely well on this one. It's got information on the back. This is Germany, Swiss Alps, I would gather. Again, a lot of this stuff you might not see after the war, after World War II. So now here's some sort of ticket for Frankfurter Hof, which is a house, which is probably a hotel, I would imagine, at some specifics. Okay, so now here is Canadian Pacific Line. Now I got, I think, like 4 different lines worth of stuff in here. Folks, these came from, traveled all over the place. I'll probably save some of the best for last. I have a few from China area, which should do phenomenally well. Quebec, this is advertising the SS Metagama, I believe that's pronounced, but this is the actual officers on board the ship. It's got a bunch of information, hotels, it's got, everything you could imagine. Breakfast menus, sailing times for the ship. Again, this is ship specific. And then it also has, this is for passengers, so you can actually mark the way you're traveling. So you'll be able to write down when you got where, the distances and stuff. This is typical from this time frame. Here's a picture of the ship, rather interesting one as well. Something like this, at least $57.50 to $75. Let's see here, what else we got here? Wine list from Canadian Pacific Limited. Again, this should be a fairly nice one here. Or wine account, I should say. This isn't going to be super pricey, but you know, $24 to $27.50. Here's your assignment card. This is their ticket number, room number, the berth they got, SS Metagama, sailing date April 29th, 1927, as well as who was entitled to use that berth. Again, these go with the same ship. I've sold a bunch of these for $27.50, so that's what I expect to get out of these. I usually list them for $34.50, even these like here. Canadian Pacific Railroad, I would imagine that's what that one stands for there. So the railroad would take them to the ship. That's just something you'll see. Boarding card, or would call out the information as soon as convenient. Passengers would, for landing cards. So this person would have to go down and get a landing card to get permission to go off the ship, I would imagine. Again, even this one little card here, $34.50 or higher. Baggage tag. So this would have a string on it. It would hang from your luggage. Write the name of the ship. Well, the person who took your baggage would write all that for you. You wouldn't have to do any of that. Again, these Canadian Pacific. These again, $34.50. Not wanted. So if you didn't want this, it would stay on the ship. It would be loaded in the baggage area. And it wouldn't be put up in your room. So that's how you'd label your stuff out there. Here's an interesting ticket for Frankfurt Museum. Unused, too, which is rather interesting. No one's torn off the stub. Or maybe there was another one. It's hard to say. $17.50 to $24.50. Now, I don't really know what this is. Society d'Encampment it looks like a race. Some form of program maybe this is a car race. If this is, I'll have to really look into this one here, because this one could be worth a lot of money if that's what this is. And it looks like they wrote first place, second, third, fourth. So this will be an interesting one. If this is for racing, I'm going to put some good money on it. This could be a $200 piece on its own. What do we got here? Again, I just grabbed everything I could get my greedy little hands on when I see stuff like this. Again, here's another one with the stamp on it, a tax stamp. So I usually try to list anything with the tax stamp on it. Hotel Milano Terminus. Again, they were there a couple times, so this, at least it looks like it. So again, $27.50. Let's pull out a few more items here. Now these motor tours, even if it's from like England and stuff, I do okay with them because it shows a lot of interesting advertisements. It's not going to be super pricey. $34.50, maybe $57.50 if I can find anything similar to it and get some ideas. Chances are, bottom end, I'd get about $15 for it. Globe Theater items. Now, I've sold Globe Theater items before. They actually, again, like some of the other ones I showed you, they taped them up so you couldn't just read them without buying them. Columbia Records, New Process, 1927. Tiptoes. Rather interesting, actually. So it's got some good content. Schweppes, service advertisement. St. James Theater is the next one. Again, it's sealed. You'd have to open it up. This is typical of what I find. I don't mess with a lot of... In fact, this one has an actress in it, so this one will probably be fairly good. I don't... A Johnny Walker advertisement from 1927. Vita Brown Bread. Another Schweppes, Cadbury. I don't mess with a lot of these foreign ones, but because they are actress, stage performer related, I don't know what that is. Looks like something may have melted onto it. I don't want to ruin it, but a lot of times you can flake off this. Yeah, it's a rubber band. It looks like maybe they had it bundled or something. Sometimes I'll just flick it and it'll come off real easily. Does usually improve, obviously, the looks of it. And I didn't really do much damage to it, so I'm pretty happy. That's fine. Well-known place. Stuff like this again, $27.50. New Theater, St. Martin's Lane. The Constant Nymph. The Sanger Sisters. Again, you'd have to pay for it to be able to look at it. Now, this has advertisements for clothing and all sorts of different things in here. Again, I might have to look up this Edna Best as Teresa Sanger, so she's the main star. Suede coats, that's pretty interesting with the golf. So even stuff like these two here, they might have an interest, just those two to sell individually. He's in the play itself too, so rather nice. This one again, I'll have to look up, but if there's no comparables to it, it's going up for $34.50 to $57.50. No question about that. Tax stamp. So again, same price structure here. What's that say? Freight, Suede, Craft Limited, Sportswear. So that's pretty interesting. Same pricing structure on this one. I'll stick it there like that. Museum Hotel. England, obviously, I would say. It's got a little receipt. It says you paid tax. The sum of shillings and pence paid with... I don't know what that says, but it's rather interesting. All 20s. And another one right here, Frankfurt, the metropolis of the Main. Interesting German piece here, too. Now, one thing you notice is a lot of these will be in English. Some of these were available here before they left Hippodrome. That's very well known. Ethnological Museum. So these are for American and British tourists. Some of the pages look like they're stuck together. But the maps are usually the city of Frankfurt. This one should do fairly well. Nothing super spectacular, but, you know, $20. Now, I'll take my time and carefully see if I can separate these all, if the pages are any more stuck together. If you're careful, sometimes these are in attics. So if they're in attics, they'll get moisture. So some of the pages will stick together. I always try to be careful when I do this, but as you can see, these have come apart fairly easily. Yeah, and there's some better ways to do this. If you put this in the freezer, believe it or not, sometimes it'll just pop right off without doing any damage. Yeah, let's see if I can... that one's going to rip. This one might be a good candidate for... Oh, no, there we go. Yeah, we'll leave this one alone. But either way, it's still going to be a decent piece. And one last one here, just to give you an idea. Another tour, Frankfurt Hof. Englischer Hof, so it's basically for English-speaking folks. It's an auto tour. It's got the distances and locations. It's got the places they stop in the order that they stop, and this is typical of what you'll see of one of these automotive tours, mileage and all that kind of stuff in it. Hopefully this gives you just a little idea here on stuff to look for. I didn't pay much for these at all. I may have... I don't know, a nickel, a quarter into most of these. The condition isn't super to most people. It's got spotting and stuff on it. But these almost never show up. Some of this will come off. I can take an eraser to the clear areas, the areas with no printing on it, and I can erase some of this. I can almost guarantee you that will be the case. So, may not look perfect, but I'll still get some really good money out of these sorts of things. Next video up, I think I got a Bolo video, and then we're going to go back to talking about the circus postcards. I did get some offers. I haven't accepted any as of yet. I'm still playing around. I did contact a specific auction house, as well as I did contact Heritage also. I may just send them into an auction because I do think that might be a little better sourcing for them, or a little better place. But we'll dive into that in another video coming up here. I think 2 more videos ahead before we hit that. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Well, there we go. Again, I really sincerely thank you for all your kind support. If there's any questions, comments, or anything else like that, don't hesitate to reach out. Anyway, I thank you, and I hope you all have a good day.